Are there really alligators walking down the street? Can I go to the beach or Disney World every day? How hot is it on Christmas Day? What is it actually like to live in Florida? Hey everybody, this is Melanie Atkinson, realtor with Smith & Associates in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida. And today I want to talk to you about the realities of living in Florida. Florida is full of so many interesting creatures and things and weather events. From alligators to Mickey Mouse, beaches and golf courses, hurricanes and humidity, no state income tax, snowbirds, strawberries, and sand. The list is endless. If you don't live in Florida, it's easy to create a vision of what it's like to live in Florida. I get all sorts of questions from people coming to look for houses in Florida about what it's actually like. So today I thought it was a really good time to address some of the most frequently asked questions about living in Florida. Obviously, this channel is called Melanie Loves Tampa Bay, so I might be a bit biased, but I try to be as honest as possible with my clients and anyone watching this about what it's actually like to live in Florida. Florida isn't for everybody. I want people to have realistic expectations of what their life will be like when they get here. I was born in Ohio, but moved to Fort Myers, Florida when I was 3 years old, so I'm pretty close to being a native Floridian. So hopefully, my years of living in Florida will help you answer the question of whether Florida is the right state for you to live in. Let's get started. Does every body of water, no matter the size, have an alligator in it? Well, no, but it probably could. Alligators are part of our world here in Florida. They have been here for a lot longer than we have, and for the most part, they like to stay very far away from humans. Alligators migrate. So a pond or lake that doesn't have an alligator in it at one time may very well get one a few months down the road. Alligators only become a problem when they lose their fear of humans, which most often happens when they're being fed by humans. If you live in a neighborhood and you think an alligator is getting aggressive, the local Fish and Wildlife Commission is there to help you. If you're moving to Florida and you don't think that you'll be able to handle having an alligator in the pond or lake in your backyard, then you're probably going to be better off buying a house that's not on water. As you're walking around your neighborhood, whenever you're walking by ponds and lakes, just remember to be smart with your small animals and children and don't let them near the banks. Chances are if there's a gator in that pond, it will live its life without hurting anybody or anything. Personally, I think alligators are super cool and I always stop and look at them. What's it like to live so close to the beach? Well, it can be really sandy. I fully admit that I am not the biggest beach fan because I don't really like sand or salt water. But I also understand that our beaches are one of the main reasons that people move here. They are beautiful and there's really nothing better than sitting in the sand and watching a beautiful sunset, and the west coast of Florida has some of the best. However, if you're moving to Florida and you're not in retirement, chances are you're not going to be living around the corner from a beach. Why? Because most of the places that employ people are not near the beach. It's a really long commute if you live on Clearwater Beach and you work in downtown Tampa. But don't fret, you can always drive to the beaches on the weekends, and over time you'll discover the secret beaches that you like best. Because when you live here, you don't go to the same beaches that all the tourists go to. You go to the ones that the locals love. If you are coming here for retirement, then come on down. We have plenty of beachfront condos waiting for you to purchase. Just make sure you hire a realtor that knows the beaches well so you can find the perfect spot for you. Is the traffic bad? I'll talk about just the Tampa Bay area for this part because that's really the only place in Florida that I drive in enough to comment on. Like all major cities, the Tampa Bay area can have traffic headaches mostly during the rush hours. If there is a wreck on a major highway, it can cause significant backups. If you're coming down to Florida during our peak tourist season, January through March, you'll notice an increase of traffic in the more touristy areas. So the beaches get more crowded and the interstate going to Orlando, I-4, gets a lot more crowded. In general, during our peak season, again, January through March, our population swells here in Florida, so our roadways get busier. Add on the fact that a lot of people are not from here and don't know how to navigate the roadways, and it can get a little chaotic out there and can cause some accidents. Although traffic can be a pain at times, I don't think it's really too different than other big cities. I have friends and clients that came from bigger cities and they say the traffic here is no big deal. Plus, we have some really great scenery as you travel to your destination. Do I get Florida resident discount tickets for the amusement parks? Yep, you sure do. Residents of Florida can purchase discounted tickets and yearly passes to just about all of your favorite amusement parks. These offers change all the time, but for example, right now, as a Florida resident, I can get a 4-day park pass at Disney World for $195. If I'm a non-resident, that same 4-park pass costs $340. That's a really big difference. The other benefit when you live in Florida, you tend to go to those amusement parks on the days when other people aren't going. A Tuesday at the end of September, let's go and avoid the lines at the Harry Potter ride at Universal. You also don't need to spend money on hotels because you can drive there and back in the same day. Is it expensive to live in Florida? That question really depends on what you're used to. If you live in the Northeast or California, then no, Florida is probably not an expensive state to live in, but if you live in a lot of states in the South, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. There are pros and cons. For instance, one of the best parts about living in Florida is that there is no state income tax. That is a huge savings for most households and also makes Florida a really popular place to live if you have a lot of money. We also have a fairly low median price for homes. However, the closer you get to the cities that most people want to live in, the more expensive those homes do get. Our property taxes are on the lower end of the spectrum, but our homeowners insurance is more expensive because of the extreme weather that we get here in Florida. Our sales taxes typically vary by county, and sometimes they can get a little high depending on where you are. For example, Hillsborough County, where Tampa is located, now has an 8.5% sales tax rate as of the beginning of 2019, whereas Pinellas County, just on the other side of the bridge, still has just a 7% sales tax rate. If you have children headed off to college and you're a Florida resident, the colleges and universities within the state system are actually very affordable in comparison to other states. Our gas prices are typically pretty low, and we get great deals on local produce like oranges and strawberries. What about the weather? Weather is a major concern for new residents and current residents of Florida, and it should be. Major hurricanes are always on our mind during hurricane season, but the trade-off, and this is a big one, is that during the fall and winter, we don't have any snowstorms. And keep in mind that hurricanes don't just affect the state of Florida, they affect all of the Gulf Coast states and the Atlantic states. Although we never want to deal with a hurricane, we typically have plenty of warning if it's one that we're going to need to vacate for, and our newer construction homes are built to withstand higher winds. To me, I worry about the strong summer storms that come through almost daily during the afternoon hours more than I worry about hurricanes in general. Lightning is very prevalent in these storms and they can dump a lot of water very quickly. On a day-to-day basis, those are the storms that cause more of an inconvenience. And regarding the heat, yes, it's hot, and yes, it's humid here, but this is a tropical climate, so that's what it's supposed to be like. It makes for some bad hair days, but it also keeps your skin and your eyes from drying out. So basically, just like any place, there are pros and cons to living in Florida. It is as beautiful as you see in the pictures, especially in the winter. Our population here in the Tampa Bay area is growing very quickly, but we are doing our best to attract wonderful new residents with great job opportunities, fun places to spend your free time, and a lifestyle that allows you to be outside all year long. So come on down and take a visit, and if you decide to stay in the Tampa Bay area, give me a call for all of your real estate needs. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Melanie Loves Tampa Bay. If you like this video, please click the like button below. If you have a comment or you want to ask me other questions about what it's like to live in the state of Florida, I'm happy to do another episode answering those questions. Go ahead and put that below. Consider subscribing to this channel if you want to find out more about life in the Tampa Bay area, home trends, and real estate in general. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or check out my website, MelanieLovesTampaBay.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. With love, Melanie.